It's Flo, and this is my impression of a drill instructor directing a musical. 10 hot! Get those tap heels in line and let me see those jazz hands! Are you bundling your home and auto insurance through Progressive? Can you hear me through those sequins?
Bundle your home and auto through Progressive and save.
Left, 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 and step ball change.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Home insurance provided and serviced by other select insurers.
Here we go, yo. One time for your mind. You know we ball all day. Yeah. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set. Ball all day. Yeah. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set.
It's Tuesday night, April 19th, 2016, and this is Full Court Press Tuesday Playoff Edition live here on the Happy Hour Network and also through the app as well on Full Court Press Radio's app, which is Full Court Press on Google and through now the Apple App Store and iTunes Store. I'm your host, Dave Thompson, checking with you tonight, and we're going to do this every Tuesday and Thursday, 1 hour, talking everything playoffs, everything going on in the NBA with some of the best writers, beat writers, bloggers, and pretty much yourself from all across the country. So give us a call, 347-857-1947. Also, if you are in the chat room for the website on the app, please go ahead and check us out on the app. I'm answering questions as we're watching playoff games right now with everybody in the saddle tonight. Guess-wise tonight, we kind of went a little different tonight because we're going to recap you on mostly everything you missed between Saturday, Sunday, and then last night in the NBA. Talk about some of the things that are going on, coaching changes. We had 2 awards giving out in the last 2 days. And like I said, we want to take calls from you as well. And don't forget, we do have our Yippee-Ki-Yay Blues segment, Artist of the Week, coming up at the bottom of the hour. Brandon Santini with the song Help Me Blues. So we're going to be playing that at about 7:30-ish, 8:30-ish, towards the bottom of the hour. So like I said, the phone number to check in is 347-857-1947. So let's get into the playoffs and what you missed over the last 3 days. The big story was basically happened last night. You know, with a kind of a mundane first 2 days of the playoffs. We'll get into Indiana beating Toronto in Game 1, but then Toronto evening up the series last night a little bit in a few minutes. But let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks. After being embarrassed in Game 1, and when I mean embarrassed, it was borderline terrible how bad Dallas was just getting blown out by Oklahoma City in Game 1. Most folks thought this series was completely over, including myself. 108-70 what Oklahoma City did to Dallas in Game 1. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and Serge Ibaka didn't even play in the fourth quarter. So you're thinking that, and Game 2 is at home in probably one of the most raucous environments you're going to find anywhere in the NBA, out in Oklahoma City. And the Dallas Mavericks and Rick Carlisle, like I said, and Rick Carlisle is still one of the best coaches in the NBA. Once again, Rick Carlisle does it again. And when I say he does it again, put on a defensive clinic and coaching-wise that was just outstanding. He basically shut down Kevin Durant. And when I say shut down Kevin Durant, this is the worst Durant's ever played. And obviously the second most missed shot attempt of anybody in a playoff series in the NBA, in the NBA's history. Durant shot 7 for 33 in the game last night, 21 points. Yes, 7 for 33. He missed 26 shots last night, including a chance to win the game, a layup that, ironically, Russell Westbrook passed the ball. I'll pretty much break it down for you if you missed it. Raymond Felton was at the line. Felton had his second career double-double in the playoffs, 21 and 11. Had 2 shots at the line. He missed both of them. Durant gets the rebound, hands it over to Westbrook. Westbrook flies down the court because Oklahoma City had no timeouts left. Westbrook gets to the middle of the lane. Normally you would think Westbrook would take it over Justin Anderson. He dished it off to Durant. Durant takes an off-balance layup, which he then misses. Westbrook misses the tip. And then Steven Adams actually puts the ball in the basket, but the problem was it was a tenth of a second too late. The ball was still in his hands. Oklahoma City loses at home. And Oklahoma City, one of the best home teams in the NBA, loses at home 85-84. The Thunder's 10th home loss of the season. And really, has given Dallas a little bit of momentum going into Game 3 later on this week. But the thing with this game is that Oklahoma City shot 33% from the floor, 21% from the free throw line, but they out-rebounded the Mavericks 62-58. I mean, this game was a lot of misses everywhere. I mean, it's just interesting how Oklahoma City loses this game, and people are going to say, well, now Kevin Durant can't be trusted in the clutch. I think it's a one-off. Still the most dangerous player in the NBA, in my opinion, down the stretch of games, and he should still get the ball when needed to. It's just that last night the We are back for Full Court Press Radio here on the Happy Hour Network. It seems like we're having a lot of technical difficulties with the radio show right now. I'm not sure what's going on with the technical connections here at Blog Talk Radio, but we're still back on the air, like I said, for the next 53 minutes. So we had to take a quick little NWO introduction break because basically we're now going to transition back into the NBA playoffs. Like I said, we talked about Mavericks and Thunder from the beginning of the series. And let's actually talk about the games going on right now. The Hawks up 43-28 over the Boston Celtics, a series that I thought would go 7 games, but the problem is now Boston is without Avery Bradley, and Bradley is probably Boston's best offensive player, especially from the three-point line. And with him not being available, potentially for the rest of the series, the Boston Celtics are in serious amounts of trouble right now. Also tonight, Memphis takes on the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs blew out the Grizzlies in Game 1. I expect this pretty much a repeat in Game number 2. Memphis is shorthanded. They don't really have much to go with. They're without Mike Conley. They're without Marc Gasol. Lance Stevenson has been the best player of this team. Also, you have guys like Zach Randolph. You also have guys like Matt Barnes. But this team is not nowhere near as deep. And they're playing a lot of guys. I mean, think about it. They started Jordan Farmar the other night along with Chris Birdman Anderson. Who would have thought those two guys would be starting a playoff series? Being on playoff rosters is one thing, but starting a playoff series is completely different. So that game is going on at 9:30 on TNT. Check those games out. Most times it's just basically those two teams because that game is really not much of a series. But let's go back into the Western Conference and let's talk about the 2-0 Golden State Warriors. It's the best team in the NBA. They pretty much proved it at home and winning Game 2 last night over the Houston Rockets without Stephen Curry. That was the most key thing. For me, it's kind of a scary thing watching this team right now because Stephen Curry on the court, you wonder how deep can the Golden State Warriors go. You would think that the Rockets should be able to take advantage of not having, Stephen Curry on the floor because Curry is, by all means, the league's MVP. I don't think that nobody's going to doubt that or bet against that. But last night, Klay Thompson stepped up huge last night, 34 points from him last night, 115-106. The Rockets somehow could not get this game. And you give Steph Curry a couple more days off. He should play for Game 3. And if that's the case, then we already knew the series was going to be over. But, the Houston Rockets are one of those teams, like I said, has been disappointing all year. They were in it most of the game. But for some reason, when you have Dwight Howard and James Harden, and you have two of the most talented players in the league, and you still can't win playoff series, that becomes a complete problem. That becomes a complete issue. I don't understand it. It just amazes me to life of me how disorganized this team is. At times, do you wonder if it's the coaching or it's the fact of, is it James Harden? At this point in time, can James Harden lead this team, out of the first round right now? I mean, I know it's pretty much an impossible task. The Golden State Warriors won their 41st game at home this year. But what I'm saying is Dwight Howard is 7 foot tall, 6'11", depends on who you ask, could not keep Draymond Green off the boards last night. Draymond Green, once again, proving why he's potentially one of the 10 best players in the NBA last night. 12 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists for Draymond Green, who is pretty much everywhere on the court. Sean Livingston, 16 points and 6 assists in the starting role, replacing Stephen Curry last night. So the only starter that didn't get in double figures last night was Harrison Barnes. He only had 6 because of his 1 in 10 shooting last night. But the Warriors got 18 points from Andre Iguodala in 33 minutes. You have to figure a way how to beat the Golden State Warriors when you don't have Stephen Curry in the court. Here's the real problem. Dante Montiunas, 15 minutes, 3 of 10 shooting from the field. Trevor Ariza, 3 of 10 shooting. Dwight Howard only took 7 shots last night. And James Harden, after going free throw in game 1, got to the line 15 times in game 2. So really, it's one of those things where if the Golden State Warriors can, if you have the chance to beat the Warriors, you need to go ahead and beat the Warriors. You can't just let this team just sit there and sit around and sit around and sit around, because really what happens is when you keep letting them sit around like that, you're not going to get any further. And Golden State, once again, it's going to be an ugly series. We can talk about this all night long here on Full Court Press, but really you're not going to beat this team, 1. And 2, it's just the fact of, I think it's not the fact that Houston is bad that makes me upset. I think that Houston is these guys don't play together because they have talent. Just think about it. This team made the Western Conference Finals last year, and now they're basically going to be a bottom feeder, in the first round series because Golden State is going to blow them out. But Draymond Green has jumped into the case of being one of the top 10 players in the NBA. I think it's an arguable case for him because there's not much that Draymond Green can't do. Think about it. He scored 12 points, but he affected the game in so many different ways last night, between the rebounding, between the passing, between the defense, and the fact that he does play center a lot. So you have to give credit to Steve Kerr, who's probably going to be the NBA Coach of the Year later on this week when they name the Coach of the Year in a couple of days. He's basically a favorite. I don't think there should be no other reason why he shouldn't win the award. But give credit to Jason Terry scoring 13 points in 30 minutes off the bench because it was a rough night for the Golden State Warriors last night. Like I said, 115 for the Rockets last night, 115-106. Losers to the Golden State Warriors, down 2-0, and it looks like this series is probably over. It could be a sweep as well too. So, you got to get ready for Game 3 for this series, which will be, I think, Friday in Houston. So you can give Stephen Curry more time to get himself ready. Game 3 is, as I said, Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern Time on TNT in Houston. I mean, this will be Houston's best chance to win any game in this series. Don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but we'll figure it out. 347-857-1947 is the number for you to call in and check in with us tonight. Let's go a little bit back into the Western Conference. Let's talk about the other matchup of the Western Conference. We talked about Golden State. We talked about Oklahoma City. We talked a little about San Antonio as well, too. But let's talk about the 4-5 matchup. The Portland Trail Blazers are down 1-0 to LA Clippers, for those who missed that game Sunday night. And really, this is what the same LA Clippers team that we expected to see all season. 115-95 over Portland. Damian Lillard did score 21 points, but really the star player was Chris Paul, one of 3 players to have a double-double in Game 1, 28 points, 11 assists. This is the LA Clippers team that we all wanted to see. This is how good they've been, how good they potentially can be all year. And really, this among the 4 teams in the Western Conference, this is the team that's really mostly slept on how far they can go because the Clippers can't seem to get out of their own way and can't seem to close out playoff series. As we saw last year, they had Houston on the ropes and couldn't close them out at all last year. Outside of Chris Paul's 28 points and 11 assists, they also got 19 points and 12 rebounds from Blake Griffin, who looks a lot healthier. Don't forget he also had 6 assists as well, too. And DeAndre Jordan, making a case for All-NBA once again, 18 points, 12 rebounds, 4 blocks. A plus 21 rating. He was everywhere across the court. They got 17 points from J.J. Redick. And